get the battery. Now this is a 4500 pack, so this may be what I'm primarily using. This is going to be front all the way to the foam. And I always use Velcro on the bottom of my battery packs, always, because I don't want them coming out, changing CG. Why isn't the battery strap moving? Guess they're not. It's kind of stupid. Stupid is, stupid does. All right, so let's put that in there. Let's start with this all the way against the foam. This will just give me an idea of a starting location. So from there, we'll just leave that alone. Tuck that inside. And now I'm going to get my canopy. And we'll put my canopy in there. Antenna placement we'll fix up later. That goes down in there. And as we see, that battery placement width, and that is a 45, is not going to fit without hacking the canopy out, because it is actually hitting right there. So if I want to use this, I either have to hack away the foam or slide this thing back in order to get it to clear. So let's just see if that works. All right, so that thing fits right there. Now that's back with the front of the battery on a 45 at the front of this strap. Antenna's in the way. And no, I'm not leaving that there, but for now it's okay. So anyway, so that's, if you can see that battery placement, that thing's back pretty good on the wood. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to try it. You always balance planes with retracts with the gear down. Sure, there's a lot of good reasons for that, but I was always told because it needs to be best when landing and taking off. The faster a plane flies, the more tail heavy it can be. Thus jets are tail heavy. So anyway, by spec in the book, when we look on this, and I'm not going to set rates with you guys, I'm going to do that later. I'll show you what I set. So anyway, so spec on this is 100 to 105 millimeters. So that means from this very leading edge right here back, 100 to 105, I'm going to call it 102. So let's move some stuff out of the way here. So here we go. Say hello to my little friend. This is my friend, the CG machine. This thing is great. So you'll notice on the side of this thing, there's calibrations, and there's little arrows right there. So obviously inches on the top, millimeters on the bottom. So we wanted 102 millimeters. So these things just pop off. And all I'm going to simply do is I'm going to slide this thing until I get exactly 102 millimeters. And then this just clips right back up here on the top. But I'm actually going to put this one on, I think this side. That's what I'm going to do. So we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to slide this one back. And I'm going to slide this one right up to 102 millimeters. So then we're going to take this and we're going to click them back on there like so. And I'm going to click this one like so. So what happens now is basically I'm going to judge the plane width-wise, and I'm going to set the width up. This base just slides together for the thickness of the plane, and I want it just as wide as the fuselage is. I don't want it wider because then it throws off the measurement, especially with a tapering leading edge. All right, so you can actually balance a plane at the bottom or the top. It doesn't matter. The only reason they tell you is to flip this thing upside down is with a low wing plane is because all the gear and stuff's in the way. So that's what I'm going to wind up doing. I'm actually going to position you guys back up here at the top. So that way we can get a better view of how we actually balance things here. So get you guys fastened again. Sorry for being crooked. My apologies. So what I'm going to do is I take this stand. I already know that my CG is absolutely perfect. Hope we can see. Again, my camera guy's off on vacation right now. No kidding. Again, don't have a camera guy. I wish I did. If you're bored, you want to come do camera stuff, come out, hit me up. So I know that I'm 102 millimeters here perfectly. So this is a 4500 pack. I actually have this if you really want to use it, a little balancing level. But what I want to do is I'm going to guesstimate right now. So I'm going to flip Mr. Plane upside down, and I am going to estimate, as I turn this so you can see it, the width, because these little rods you want right up against the leading edge of the wing. So you have those little points, you really don't even have to guess much. Okay, so you can see right there that I'm pretty close to the edges of the fuselage. I could actually come in just a little bit. So you just grab the base and pull it in, and again, your little needles will go right against the leading edge, so you know that your measurement is true there. There and there. Probably want to slide the base in a little bit more. There and there. So I am really confident that that is exactly 102 millimeters back. And so really what happens is you let go of the plane. Plane's tail heavy. All right. So now the question becomes, how much do I actually have to slide the battery forward? So at this point it becomes trial and error. So what I'm going to do is just simply lift this off, slide the CG machine out of the way. And I know there's a bunch of guys right now going, I just use my fingers and I guesstimate and it's fine. I've never lost the plane to balance issues, ever. And I attribute that to actually making sure that I actually balance things right. So this was at the beginning of the strap. So if I'm going to fly this pack, let me come just a little bit more forward. Tempt fate with how far I can get this thing in or forward here. We're going to again flip it. We're going to bring this back. Rest that there. Rest that there. That's what a balanced plane looks like. So if I had to guess, this thing is just maybe a hair, a smidgen back that way. But remember, I had 100 to 105 millimeters, so I picked the middle, so I have a little bit to work with either way. The little level is here, so if you want to actually lay that on there, you can tell if it's perfectly level or not. It shows it's just a hair tail heavy right now. So I think I'm going to pull the bottom of the canopy apart, and I'm going to shave that just a little bit. Again, I have some servo adjustments here to make. I actually have to change the lengths of my push rods to get my ailerons the way I want them, or to do some trim, so I'll do that. But realistically, I think we're pretty good on the balance. So again, CG machine, you can find them eBay, places like that used. So now what I do is I will simply get a Sharpie here. Take you guys for a walk again. So what I am going to do now is I take on my planes and I literally draw a line for the front of the battery, and then I'll write usually an arrow for the pack, and I know that this is a 4500 pack right there. So I know placement every single time. So if I change batteries, I just simply, I will balance with probably 3 batteries. I would have liked to get this thing stuffed in there, but this is a Turnigy 5000. I think it'll fit. But when we start looking at, and this is something that I like to do as well, I like these little scales, and I'll actually give you the weight of the plane, since you asked. You probably didn't ask, but anyway. So grams of planes, grams of batteries. So Turnigy 5000, 793 grams. All right, so 793. So if we write down 793. So let's take that off of there. Bought these things off eBay, Z's 5200s. I don't know, give them a shot. So I do a lot of internal resistance checking between different batteries. So here is 761 grams. So this thing is roughly 30 grams lighter than the Turnigy 5000 heavy duty, but also look at the C ratings, right? So this is a 50C, and that is a anywhere from a 75 to a 100C, or a 60C up to 120C, sorry. So anyway, so 761 grams on that pack. So now as I pull this one out, and this plane's gonna fall. So let's just see what this one works out to be. So this one is 688 grams. So 688. So you can tell there's going to be a big weight difference in this thing from going from there up to the tune of almost 80 grams. So I don't know, we'll have to see. This is my go-to pack. I have this one in a Roaring Top 4500. This is what I use in my Bayhawk as well. So if you're curious as to the weight of this plane alone, again, this thing was 41 inch wingspan. So let's just throw the canopy on there and see if we can get an all up weight on this thing. Bear with me. Look at that. That is 1900 grams. This thing is literally just balanced right now like a rocket, right off the scale. So what is the unit? If we push that, try not to drop the plane. So if you wanted to know in pounds, it is 4.1 pounds exactly on the build. I think that's that. So that kind of gives you an idea how to do CG. That gives you an idea how to do radio setups and programming with flaps. Again, I got a couple adjustments to make. I'm not going to do that with you guys on here. And the other thing I have to do is set control throws. So let me show you really quickly what I use for doing those. So here, you watch this guy. Don't let him go anywhere. So this is what they call an accuthrow-meter. So this thing literally just clamps onto the surface, and then you have your control surface that zeroes out. You can just wiggle this thing whatever way you want to, and then as you operate the control surface, you can actually see it in millimeters exactly how far it moves. So it takes the guesswork out. So again, eBay, you may be able to find one, old time, you know, swap meets, things like that. So anyway, with that being said, hey, I know this is a long video. It's a little over an hour in the build for a 5-minute plane. We still have some little wires to tidy up, but ultimately looks like a great plane from the bottom. You get to see some of the retracts in the bottom of this thing, a little sequence there in the gear door. So it's actually a pretty neat looking sport plane. I think I'm gonna like it. I like my Bayhawk a lot. That thing from FMS is a knockout. Perfect. So I think I'm gonna like this thing a good bit. We're gonna set up the control throws. I'm gonna clear it with some Minwax. As soon as we get a chance, I will go ahead and we're going to do the maiden on this. I will promise I will try to do a much better job in this maiden than my AL maiden, simply because of camera zooming in and out and hard to see the thing when it's off at a distance. I don't like those either, so try and find a way to fix that for you guys. I appreciate you joining me. If you liked it, subscribe. I do tons of tips. This stuff is good for, you know, everybody, but a lot of beginner good information in here as far as setting things up. Again, feel free to reach out, leave comments. Let me know what you like about the stand, if you like the stand or not. Again, would you buy one if you were at a swap meet? What do you think you would want to pay for something like that? What's too much? Let's put it that way. All right. Otherwise, again, from down here in the lair, I'm Brendan. I appreciate you joining me. You guys have a great week. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Thanks much. Peace out.